We are one conversation away from a shift in perspective that can lead to a decision that can change our entire life. So let's have that conversation. Welcome to Pieces to Peace. That's probably going to be our intro until I come up with something that, I don't know, lines with my spirit or tickles my heart. But I'm a big believer in that. We really are one conversation away from a shift in perspective that can lead to a decision that can change our entire life. That being said, welcome to Pieces to Peace podcast. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or on Spotify or just simply listening to us through your headphones, no matter where you're at, taking a poop, at the gym, yes, I just called you out, driving, or just sitting at home, watching, trying to heal. There is power in just listening to a shift in perspective, listening to a conversation, changing our decision making, and ultimately changing our life. So today's topic is, you're not losing them, they're losing you. So let them lose you. Let them lose you, because you're not losing them. You're not. And don't believe the fake story you're telling yourself if you think that you are. They're losing you. The goal isn't to beg people to sit at your table. It's simply to invite them. And whether they choose to stay or sit or hang around is up to them. If they leave, that's their decision. It doesn't change how great and amazing you are. And we need to no longer allow other people's decisions to dictate our self-worth and value. So that's what today's episode is about. Oftentimes, the root to all of our problems when it comes to our relationships, why we shrink ourselves, neglect our needs, mute our voice just to keep people around. We think if we abandon ourselves, hopefully they won't abandon us. You see the problem there? You shrink yourself. You tolerate so much to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore. Who are you? And I want to talk about the three major reasons or three major factors as to why we tolerate so much disrespect, why we shrink ourselves for others. The first reason why we shrink ourselves and tolerate so much disrespect is the fear of being alone. And if you're watching, there we go. I was waiting for this to focus. The fear of being alone. We get so terrified of being alone, of telling ourselves that we feel lonely, when the truth is we're not. Being able to be your own best friend, taking yourself out on dates, enjoying your own presence, your own solitude is powerful. That's what they mean by when you change the things you look at, then the things you look at end up changing. You can be alone, but you decide whether or not you're lonely or if you're in solitude. There's a difference. Now, the second reason why we often neglect ourselves and abandon ourselves and shrink ourselves just to keep people around. Fear of rejection. We are terrified that if we speak up, if we stand up for ourselves, they might leave. And if they leave, that means we weren't worthy. That means we weren't good enough. We're terrified of being rejected. We're terrified of not being accepted. Ooh. But not everybody's going to love you. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to agree with your perspective or opinion. And the stronger you are with your boundaries and your needs and who you are as a person, the more joy and happiness you're going to attract. Sure, some people might walk away, and those people most likely will be the ones that were benefiting from your self-neglect, benefiting from the fact that you couldn't say no, benefiting from the fact that you always showed up for them at the cost of not showing up for yourself. Oh, I know you hear me, but are you listening? And the last reason, the last common factor, reason, circumstance as to why we continue to neglect and abandon ourselves is we often tie our identity to other people's presence in our life. We think the more friends we have, the more people that like us, the more accepted we are, the cooler we are, the more valuable we are, the more enough we are. When the truth is, that's the furthest thing from the truth. Because there's a quote that says, if you don't stand for anything, then you fall for everything. Who are you? What do you like? What do you not like? It's okay to say no, because oftentimes saying no to something is saying yes to you. You're standing up for something. You're not falling for everything. Now, allowing those three circumstances I just mentioned to linger, to play a part of your everyday dynamics in your relationships, it costs you your peace. And that's way too expensive because it leads to anxiety, burnout, and self-doubt. You don't know who you are because you've been so used to neglecting that part of yourself. You don't know what it looks like to stand up for yourself. So when you are in a circumstance or situation where you end up being disrespected, you just take it. Because in your head, if you just stay quiet, shrink yourself a little more, then those people will stay. Is that really worth it? I answer it for you. No, it's not. It's not worth your peace. It's not worth your self-neglect. It's not worth you abandoning yourself out of the fear of being abandoned. The question I want you to reflect on, think about this. Would you rather be at peace with the world, but at war with yourself? Or at war with the world, but at peace with yourself? Think about that. That's what this overall episode is about. Because as human beings, we tend to overcomplicate our human experience. We tend to overcomplicate it. And the better we are at simplifying what we're dealing with, the better it helps us find a solution to the problems in our lives. Simplifying doesn't mean dumbing down. It simply means making it just a little bit easier to digest. So when I say simplify, it's not like trying to invalidate or devalue the complexity of emotions in life. No, these things are very much so very complex. But the more we are able to simplify it, it's like taking a steak and just cutting a piece to make it chewable so you can digest it, right? And you take it piece by piece by piece, and before you know it, the entire steak is in your stomach. If you try to take the steak with one huge bite, now we start running into problems. Does that make sense? Right? You can't keep wearing a winter jacket all year round. And what I mean by that is people, circumstances, and things might have served a purpose in certain seasons. The winter jacket kept you warm in the winter time. But when summer rolls around, when the seasons change, that winter jacket needs to come off. And you got to leave it in that season where it served its purpose so that you can walk into your season and find that joy and experience the sun and enjoy the heat. But some people, a lot of us, tend to hold on to people, circumstances, things, and events through seasons that it doesn't serve us. In fact, it's hurting us, and hopes that the season will come right back around and eventually it'll serve its purpose. But it might cause so much damage to us that we might not make it to that season. And what I mean by that is that winter jacket that kept you warm in the wintertime, that got a little bit uncomfortable during the springtime, started suffocating you in the summertime, dehydrated you to the point where you didn't even make it to fall or winter coming back around. And you held on to it for dear life in hopes that if you could just muscle through, maybe you'd be able to make it to those seasons where it would then be beneficial again. But it anchors you. It delays you. It destroys you so much to the point where it's not worth it. And nor will you probably even make it to those seasons. You're supposed to shed off things, circumstances, lessons, people that served a purpose and a lesson for that season to help you grow into your next chapter. So, you know the turning point for me when it came to like allowing people to miss out on me? I realized, like I said before, and I will reiterate, I realized I no longer am begging people to sit at my table. I'm no longer reserving seats and trying to get people to sit down and making beautiful dishes and trying to sell tickets to my own table. I send out the invite gently, kindly, compassionately. If they choose to sit down and join, amazing. And if they don't, that's fine. That's not my people, nor was that seat meant for them, because what's for me won't miss me. My people won't miss me. My circumstances won't miss me. The job won't miss me. My forever person won't miss me. So that was the turning point that allowed me to really lean into my purpose, into myself, and to no longer allowing other relationships, circumstances, people choosing me or not choosing me to dictate my self-identity, my self-reflection, my self-worth, my self-value. That's what freed me. And if I were to simplify that, it really is the difference between law of detachment and law of attachment. Because attachment stems from fear. I'm scared of losing these people, so I'm going to hold on to them out of fear of losing them. But in the process of holding on to them, I accidentally choked the life out of the event, the circumstances, the relationship, because I got so scared I didn't even realize my grip was too tight, ultimately destroying that very thing. But law of detachment looks like this. Detaching is simply planting the seed, watering it, and allowing it to do its thing. And if it doesn't sprout, if it doesn't grow, oh well. It was outside of my control. Maybe the soil wasn't fertile. Maybe the seed was defective. Maybe there wasn't enough sunlight. All of those things are outside of my control. I did everything I needed to do to help that seed grow. If you were to add attachment to that same analogy, it would look like this. You would plant the seed, you would water it. You would lose sleep over worrying whether or not this seed would grow. First thing you would do next morning, you would dig the seed up to see if it sprouted at all, if it started to grow. Second day, you would do the same thing. Third day, you would do the same thing, and so on and so forth. Guess what? The seed would never grow. You know why? Because the very act that you were digging it up, checking on it, was actually killing the seed in the process. Your fear actually played the factor into diminishing the seed's ability to grow because you were acting out of fear. Plain and simple, approaching every relationship from a place of faith, trusting that if it's meant to align organically, it will, and if it doesn't, so be it. One step closer to you finding your environment, your people, your place, your circumstances that are meant for you, gives you the ultimate level of peace. That protected level of peace where it's not contingent, it's not married, it's not attached to an outcome, to a circumstance. Your value isn't based on people choosing you or not choosing you. And during that process, you are able to be so unapologetically yourself that it's scary. You don't think, not in terms of offending people, in terms of you are just so comfortable in your own skin and you realize people are going to like you for that and some people might not. Oh well. I hope this helps somebody. Thank you so much for listening. Many more episodes to go. Comment below as to what you liked, what you learned. Did this help you? Did this free somebody? Somebody let me know. Did it free you? I hope it did. I hope it did, because this is what helped free me. Have you more peace, give you more peace. Thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description. There's so many resources to help you heal and take your healing journey to the next level, which includes my healing community that I'm running right now. 7-day free trial. We have over 1,200 people in that space. We have weekly Zoom calls, weekly question and answer. You get direct support from me, from other people in the community every single week. I just started adding that in. That being said, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, peace from Dees.